Wake up, motherfucker.
All right, what's up, guys? What's up? Hold up. All right, August 26, 2026. Let me get rid of this thing. I was away listening to the Ruby stream, so there was just too much Boit activity going on here. So I was hoping Kevin would show back up, but I guess we're not going to have another Kevin appearance. Okay, guys? No Kevin appearance? Right now, Nvidia is up 4%, so no problemo there. Even when it was going down initially, I didn't see any effect on the QQQ. Now it's moving up. We're having good times happening. So I think when I told you guys that, okay, well, if you really wanted to trade, I would gamble. If I had to gamble, I'll be AXTI, SanDisk, SNDK, and then Lunar, LUNR. Okay, for I think it was intuitive machines, right? So one space stock, two semiconductor stocks, and things will be nice. And here we are. We have these. Let me try to get rid of this thing here and move this around. Let's try to move this one around. How do I do that? Come on. Let's see. Customize. Okay, customize. All right, let me shrink this a bit. Okay, put that in the center. Yeah. So this one, okay, I can't do too much. All right, there we are. So we got these after hours as well. So Nvidia was initially down, but after the conference call started, the earnings call started moving up towards up 4%, and we have Nutanix 12.45%. We got this P. Man, I forgot what the P stand for. P stand for something. A Pure Soft or some weird thing. I was looking to buy this one. Let's see. So Okta we talked about before. Okta, something we'll buy. Everpure is P. And CrowdStrike, I've been in there before. Waited for earnings. I think we can confirm that cybersecurity is not dying anytime soon. So we had Fortinet already report 2 weeks ago. Now we got CrowdStrike. And lastly, down here, CRM is Salesforce. Salesforce, one of those weak, big name software companies that really influences the IGV and other ETFs like it. I think it's in the IGV. At least it should be in like several of the cloud and communications ETFs, maybe not. Maybe just the cloud. I don't know. But yeah, this is a big time one. So and these other ones here, well, we might not even talk about them. I think UMA is like another software company I barely know about. Maybe it's going to be more interesting. Synopsys is a CAD company for semiconductors. So semiconductor uh, computer aided design. So CAD. Agilent is a medical company. It used to be combined with Keysight, and those two companies used to be combined with Hewlett Packard. So Hewlett Packard first split off into Hewlett Packard and Agilent. Agilent had the medical test and the electronic test side. Then Agilent split off into Keysight and Agilent. Agilent kept the medical stuff. Keysight did only electronics. Keysight reported some earnings some weeks ago as well. I don't think they were good earnings. And then Hewlett Packard itself split into Hewlett Packard Enterprise and Hewlett Packard regular old Hewlett Packard. So HPQ and HPE. So Hewlett Packard is now 4 different companies. So a lot of these old companies have started splitting apart off of each other. You know, General Electric is a recent one, and then we have, man, there was another company that I was looking at that was going to split as well this quarter. Man, I forgot now. but they might be interesting. Oh, I think it was one of the defense companies. What was it? Honeywell. Honeywell is kind of like defense and consumer products, right? I think most people would think of Honeywell. They think, oh, thermostats. It's kind of like Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments is just well known for calculators, even though that's not a big part of their business. Same thing with Honeywell. Honeywell, people know them from thermostats, but that's not really a big part of their business as well. You know, they do defense, they do other things. These are just like parts, and they're going to split into different companies. So every time these guys split, they capture more value for the shareholder. Well, that's in theory. So you should be looking into them. All right. I think the software side is looking pretty good overall. Only P is down, right? Let me check the recent. P went up. Okay. So after whoever was talking in earnings call, P Evapure is now up 3%. So I don't see any red right now except for Synopsys. Synopsys, even though it was down 5% earlier, is now down negative 0.74. So far, I think we're in the clear. I don't think anything's going to be a problem. The only problem now is 10 o'clock Eastern, Friday, okay, in the morning, you will have Kevin Warsh speaking at the Jackson Hole, Wyoming Economics Forum. He will have a little keynote address. And I'm not 100% sure if they do question and answers afterwards. But if they do, then yeah, that might be the problem, because usually the keynote will just be generalities. He's not going to say anything too crazy, I don't think. The last time something big happened at one of these was Jerome Powell, just before he started raising interest rates. So he was hinting that, oh, inflation seems a little bit stickier than I thought it would be, and then the next time he met, right, in September, he got a little bit more worried. And then by the time November rolled around, I think, yeah, people were realizing, oh, shoot, I think we're going to have a bad time with interest rates by Thanksgiving. And then the December meeting, the last meeting of that year of 2021, I think it confirmed that, yeah, Jerome Powell was no longer going to run away from inflation. It was no longer transitory. Okay. So that was the big change during that time. I think otherwise, I haven't seen any of these really matter. It was only during the COVID era where people really got worried. I didn't hear the intro music. Oh, really? Hmm. Weird. Weird. I think it was playing, wasn't it? It looked like it was playing. Shoot. Didn't hear the intro music. Was it playing? I think you came in at the towards the end when I stopped the video. Yeah, so maybe that's why. So the intro music already played or whatever. All right, let's get rid of this thing. I'm done with that. It's on my end. Oh, it's on your end. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whose end all this. Using Restream, you kind of go like, well, is it Restream's fault? Is it my fault? Is it someone else? It's like you don't know which one is the problem. Okay, let's see. Let me play this. So let's go play the damn Samantha LeDuc. I just downloaded this. I just want to hear what Samantha thought of the Scott Bessent stuff. This was like a couple days ago, I think. She's really mad. So a lot of people are getting mad at this Scott Bessent thing. They're just like, what the hell? What's this crap? What's going on here? I mean, I don't know. Why should I be mad at this? Should I be mad? I don't think I should be mad. I don't think I should be mad. So let me see. Where is it? Where is it? Damn, I got all this crap here. I'm gonna be wondering what Jem Carson was gonna be. Jem Carson was already live streaming anyway, right? He was gonna cover this stuff. So I'm gonna have to go back and see what the hell he said. It's like, oh, what? Huh? Okay, I did download it. You and this okay, this is on intro. Oh, you want me to do that on the intro? Oh, you want me to merge that? Oh shit, man. Bro. I don't want to get struck, man. I don't want my channel to get struck. I know YouTube right now, they're maximizing their AI to find copyright. You know the reason why people saying F slur and N word and whatever doesn't matter anymore? It's because it costs so much for AI. So the resources before, because AI was cheaper, because they wanted to get people to use AI, the costs were low. But now that everybody's using AI, and I think Google now, because they realize, shoot, this stuff is costing us a lot of money, we have to get into debt to build out and expand. They don't want to use any more AI resources unnecessarily. So N word, F slur, they don't care anymore. They cared last year. You know, they got John Galt a lot, even though he's black. They don't care. They got him multiple times. That's why, it's he's always like annoyed by it and try to always get remonetized every time he gets demonetized. But I don't think they can use the AI for that anymore. They just can't afford it. It's just not worth it to them. They have to catch the copyright though, so all their resources now are tied up trying to catch copyright. And I just recently saw a video about a dude complaining that they copyrighted him just based off of like his guitar playing on his left hand. So the AI was looking at his left hand, and he was just playing like the Sound of Silence, right? What's it, Depeche Mode. So they were looking at his chords, and they struck him for that or some shit, because all he did was say, "I'm about to play Sound of Silence," and then he muted it because he was just making a joke. See, you can't hear me, and I would get copyright anyway. And I guess they were just analyzing the video and looking at his positions of his fingers on the frets, and it was just like, what? No way, you can't be serious, that's the reason. So I mean, I could kind of believe it, in the sense that, like, if you let AI reign free and don't put any real guidelines, it can incorporate whatever it wants to say it's copyright, right? You know, like, AI is not, dude, AI is not a human. It's not intelligent at all. It is going to infer things though, and if you don't give it guidelines, it will make up its own way of doing things that you might go like, "The fuck? A human would never do that." Well, yeah, because it's not a human, retard. Anyhow, yeah, the GetCrack experience, yeah, I'm sure. Ooh, ooh, ah, 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 ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I mean, it might not be get me for a ban for racism, but it might get me banned for copyright. It'll be like, "Hey, that's part of the Joe Rogan experience. Ban, yeah, you're banned now." It's like, what the fuck, asshole. So any monkey sound is now considered copyright. I'm not monetized though, so I don't think it matters. But we'll see how things go. If you are monetized, they will look at you more. That's for sure. All right, enough of that. Let me see. What was I gonna do? Okay, did I download that yet? Is it done? Is it done yet? And doopy, 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 doopy. I'll just do 720p resolution here. Okay. All right, let me get that one for you. It makes me laugh every time I'm such. Yeah, I know, it makes me laugh too. It's just, dude, that's why I put the music behind it. When he started ranting at TK, I just saw a black screen, and I just see him go, because there's no chat box yet, right? It takes a while for YouTube to do the chat box. And then all I hear is like, "Hey, TK? Hey, TK, you think you're a king?" Ooh, ah, ah, ooh. I was like, "What the fuck?" I just hit record. I just said, "Oh shit, I gotta clip this. I gotta clip this." I know exactly what soundtrack to put behind it too. I just had it in my mind already to go. And the same thing with Spud, when Spud did his like little boohoo, uh, looking at the stars stuff. I was like, "Oh, I know what to put behind this." That Nolan shit. I'm gonna put the Nolan Odyssey in the behind it, but the piano version. Oh yes, the piano version. Yes, I know which one. I wish more people did that though. We definitely need more Naptown type people. So we need more Naptown type people, and you should subscribe to channel Plan C, not Channel C, Plan C. My bad. So yes, Plan C is the guy you should go and see. This stuff is like awesome. This stuff. What would happen if Matt met Kevin on panel? Fireworks or fast friends? Yeah, I'm downloading stuff right now, Kyle. Oh, my bad. It's like it didn't start for whatever reason. Anyhow, yeah, yeah, go to Plan C, right there. Plan C, there we are. I like this stuff. Definitely. What would have Matt met Kevin on panel? Yeah, we're trying to do that. We're trying to do that in the background. We're definitely trying to do this. All right, we are going to do this. Okay, get that stuff in. Fireworks or fast friends? I don't know though. Wish we had like the Thorpe markets. I suppose somebody needs to redo something with that. We need a new betting thing with the pump fund. I think it should be easy to do with the pump fund. So I went to ChatGPT and I asked it, how would you make a betting system just reusing the infrastructure already built with the Solara and pump fund and all that? There's definitely different ways to do it, and the easiest way would be just to have one coin for a yes and another coin for a no, right? You have a different coin for each option, I guess, and make people buy or sell that coin and somehow rig it to work. I don't know. There's definitely a way. There's definitely a way where we just don't need to do that much coding at all. Very minimal, and just let the ChatGPT Claude generate whatever gluing code that you need to make it work. So it should be simple, I would think, at this point. People have done so much of the infrastructure that's already there. Okay. Plan C. All right, let's see. Let's see what Samantha
just rolled
said.
out a surprise bond buyback program, but what people are calling the Besant put might not be what it seems.
Man, is this AI? God damn, Samantha's really just using AI for everything.
On Wednesday morning, I went live pre-market to break down the Treasury's expanded long end buyback program and walked through its immediate cross-asset impact, covering currencies, yields, metals, and equities in real time. First question, why now? The Treasury calendar had show 0 scheduled buybacks. Then Besant suddenly doubled long end purchases from $2 billion to $4 billion per operation starting September 9th. The timing was suspicious to say the least, as does its ending date, November 4th, one day after the midterm elections. Just one day before, the 30-year U.S. yield surged to a 19-year high of 5.33%. Again, curious timing. Then came the 20-year Treasury auction, which tailed by half a basis point. Bid to cover fell below both the prior auction and the 6-auction average, showing demand was visibly fading. While Besant was calming the bond markets, Trump hosted crypto executives at the White House, pressing Congress on the Clarity Act. Then the SEC quietly proposed a surprise framework for crypto registration exemptions. Then Bitcoin surged past $71,000, breaking a 6-week stalemate and wiping out nearly $3 billion in short positions overnight. The buyback program is set to run through November 4th, just one day after the midterm elections. After almost 2 decades of tracking markets, I can tell you there is no such thing as coincidence with policy intervention in equity and bond markets. Now, let's zoom out together. The U.S. Treasury market stands at $31.5 trillion. Long-term government and corporate bonds, $50.5 trillion. The total bond market, $58 trillion. Against all that, the buybacks are barely a rounding error. Raoul Pal says to forget the dollar amount because the signal here is enormous. What just happened is that the fiscal authority, not the Fed, stepped in to defend the long end of the bond market. Raoul Pal sees something far bigger here. This is the scaffolding for an era-defining build-out. Aging demographics and the AI robotics revolution demand unprecedented liquidity. Too big to fail, too massive to stop. KPMG chief economist Diane Swonk pulls no punches. She points out that federal debt has now surpassed World War II levels, inflation remains stubbornly sticky, and AI infrastructure debt is competing directly with treasuries for capital. 6 structural headwinds stand in the way. First, record federal debt exceeding wartime levels. Then, sticky inflation and AI debt competing with treasuries. Next, short-term refinancing risk, soaring sovereign issuance, and finally, Gulf states turning inward. Even after Besant stepped in, rates stayed stubbornly firm, as has been the case for months as the bond market has ignored the signals and Besant's intervention efforts so far. My bet, bonds and yen will chop violently sideways into year-end. The real reckoning will follow. But 2 triggers could shatter this calm before year-end. If crude oil surges past $120 or unemployment climbs to 4.6%, either one would accelerate the bond and equity reckoning Besant is desperately trying to delay. It bears watching the upcoming 7 Treasury buyback auctions running from September 10th through November 4th, alternating between the 10 to 20 and 20 to 30-year tenor, a calendar that wraps up just one day after the midterms.
You know, this ain't bad. You know, using AI just to make all these like summary slides and things. Like nobody has time to do this independently. We don't have the resources of CNBC. So that's not a bad use of AI. I gotta hand it to her. It's like, this is nice. This really nice. This like video just like gets through the job quickly instead of like going over here, there, whatever, making PowerPoints or or talking and blathering on and on and on. Perfect. This is nice. This is nice.
Back in November 2023, we saw the Powell pause and Yellen Yahtzee, a genuine issuance shift that lifted markets. This Besant put, same theater, different script, with no structural change underneath. Ironically, Besant criticized Yellen for front-end funding, calling it a political move. Then he held coupon issuance flat, intervened in the currency markets by buying the yen July 30th, and now is twisting treasury duration that swaps out cheap debt for expensive. So Besant's real play was to weaken the dollar, fuel the AI trade, and keep private credit from cracking under rising yields. Bookvar points out the irony here. Besant is picking up long treasuries below par at 50 cents on the dollar, then swapping them out for T-bills yielding 3.75%. That's trading cheap debt for expensive debt. So picture hiking short-term rates into this. That would only inflate U.S. debts and deficits, pushing long rates even higher. And that's before any oil or supply shock inflation scare hits. Wolf Richter calls it hocus pocus. The Treasury can't simply print money, so it issues new debt to buy back old debt. And the amounts are so small they barely register beyond a fleeting verbal manipulation. Then JP Morgan fired a warning shot. Without genuine fiscal consolidation, markets could view Besant's buybacks as a credibility gap, pushing term premium and yields even higher over time. Then on CNBC, Besant made a pointed remark. Yields, he said, don't reflect fundamentals. That carefully chosen phrasing hinted the Treasury might shrink long-end auction sizes going forward, yet another lever to suppress rates. So the real reason Besant stepped in? A buyer's strike on long-duration bonds, corporate IG issuance, inflation fears, and bond raters were all pulling demand away from the long end. It bears repeating. There are structural forces choking off demand. First, corporate investment grade issuance from the AI capex buildout is flooding the market at higher yields. Second, inflation stalks a dollar devaluation. Third, foreign demand is slowly moving away from not only US treasuries, but in time also our dollar. As Japanese yields continue to climb, this shifts the whole picture. With better returns at home, banks, insurers, and pensions have less reason to send money overseas. And as they have stopped buying US treasuries, our largest foreign holder of US treasuries is also turning seller. This is one buyer America cannot afford to lose. If crude oil breaks above $120, Besant's yield suppression strategy begins to unravel. Oil-driven inflation eats through corporate margins and household budgets alike, ultimately forcing the Fed's hand in the worst possible direction. If an energy shock hits, deepening inflation right as the Fed cuts rates into a slowing economy, the impact can pull forward recession risk. Then spending fades, layoffs follow, credit stress builds, and demand eventually collapses, a stagflationary risk the Treasury and Fed want to avoid. The 10-year yield at 4.8% becomes the Maginot Line, the point where momentum can quickly accelerate toward 5%, the Powell pause high of November 1st, 2023, a level Besant does not want to see anytime soon. Realize that yield curve control and duration management are yet technical tools in an environment where there is scarcity in the physical world and repression in the financial one. In the near term, Besant will deploy them to safeguard future auctions and suppress rising term premium, but in the long term, only fiscal consolidation and debt control will reverse this fiscal dominance trend. Besant stepped in because the 10-year, 2-year bear steepener was accelerating. What started as an ordinary bond sell-off was dangerously close to becoming a Treasury liquidity event. If the bond market believes him and that he will do more than just signal, the bullish case looks like this. The yield curve flattens and real rates drift lower alongside easing inflation expectations and mortgage spreads. Then a Fed rate cut re-enters the conversation and Besant's backstop suddenly looks prescient and powerful. Then layer a Fed rate cut on top of Besant's backstops and Samantha's SPX 8200 2026 target snaps right back into full view. But
all right, so 8200. What did I say again? What was my one of my streams? I said 8400. So I said 8400 is going to get hit. Now, I'm trying to see with the Nvidia earnings over with, and then now we have to worry about Marvell tomorrow, and I'm assuming Marvell's not going to kill it. Okay, let's assume that. So Marvell after the close tomorrow, and then we have Kevin Warsh on Friday. So those two things doesn't kill what we're going to have starting tonight, because I know the Koreans are going to be happy with this, right? They're going to be pumping, and then in the morning, the semiconductors should be pumping even higher through pre-market into the open. So that will juice it up. Now, Marvell better not spoil that party. It'll keep juicing into Friday. So that's when the Asian markets are done for the week, right? So we have the extra day going into Friday. So that's what's going to happen. Their Friday is going to be done with, and it's all on us after Kevin Warsh. If that goes well, then next Monday, they're going to see like, whoa, the U.S. markets rallied into Friday's end close. We're going to chase it, so they have to catch up to us. By the time Monday opens, we should be able to have enough momentum for all of next week going into Labor Day. If that's the case, man, I think we should be able to hit 8,400 by mid September. I think it shouldn't be that hard. If that happens, get out. Now, would you be like, oh, it's time to short? Well, you better short at the right moment. But so, okay, Samantha says 8,200 by the year end, if everything goes well. I think we just rally right up into September, mid-September, right? Sometime around after Labor Day, we're going to go into September 11th or whatever. Then something goes wrong into late September. I don't know, something with the Federal Reserve or the Bank of Japan. So we'll see. All right, let's see. So her thinking is like the bad stuff has to be all cleared out. Well, I think people are going to be irrational and try to pump this guy really fast before the year end. So let's see if
Before
that's true.
chilling the champagne, our classical economist, Jeffrey Fouvry, remind that without fiscal austerity, Besant's Treasury buyback playbook is but a nicotine patch on a lung cancer patient, because swapping cheap debt for expensive debt is a wealth-degrading trap that cannot fix the structural disease underneath. In the end, when the Treasury Secretary has to step in at the long end just as bond buyers revolt and demand ceases, the bigger risk is that more marginal buyers fade away and future Treasury auctions fail. That's what Besant is desperate to avoid. The full macro to micro trading.
All right, that's it. That's enough. Okay, done with that. Okay, let's look at the charts. So post-market, after-hours market is closed. Now it's overnight market. All right, so futures are now taking over. So let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Go over everything. All right. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let me go over this stuff first. All right. All right, let's summarize this. NVIDIA just guided $108 billion in revenue for Q3 alone, and this guidance assumes zero data center compute revenue from China. This builds on the record $96.2 billion in revenue posted for last quarter for a projected total of $204.2 billion in 6 months. We now have a $5+ trillion company that is seeing 106% year-over-year revenue growth. There has never been anything like what we have been seeing right now with AI. This is arguably the best technological revolution of all time. I mean, the Bessie letter, this damn account here, Twitter account. This guy is just like, oh, pump and dump all the time. And the thumbnail right now is for Hormaxer. So this is Hormaxer last night. And this is what I'm feeling. This exactly matches what I'm feeling here. I'm getting greedy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting more and more greedy as we continue on here. Okay, so I don't know. Things are going places. Man, did I share the right thing? I guess I didn't share the right thing. Hold on, I don't see that thing moving. So hold on here. Did I share the right thing? Okay. Okay, this thing. I think. Is this it? So. That's weird. So let me see. I turned this one on. Okay, so why isn't it flipping through the thing? Is it flipping through it? That's bizarre. It's not changing through the tabs at all. So I'm going to remove this. Okay. That's weird. It's not even flipping through this. That's weird. Yeah, that is weird. Man, that is bizarre. I don't know why it did that. Okay, it can do this, but this thing, does it move per tab? Wow, it's not. That's weird. Why is the tab a separate thing? That makes no damn sense. I never seen a bug like this. Hold on. How is that even possible? No way. Okay, then whose window is this? What are you doing? Nah, man, come on. Can't believe it. Just like separate all my tabs out like this. That can't be right. Can't be right at all. That's weird. That makes no sense. That makes no damn sense. All right, let me see. Let me see if I get hide all. Okay. And then put this up. And then do this. And then see this. Okay, scan share screen. Okay. Block this. Unblock. Do this. This thing. Yeah, there's no way it's like. No, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Yeah, it just like put out all of the stuff into a different tab. That's weird. No way. All right. I can't solve this right now, I don't think. I don't think I can solve that right now. I would have to let me see. Like each tab is now its own thing. I don't know why it's doing that, but I guess I can't solve that right now. Weird. So let me see. If I put this up, and then let me see if I can somehow move my mouse around. Okay. Let's see. Would it actually follow that or not? No, that makes no freaking sense at all. Why it would do that. That is weird. I've never seen that at all. Okay. Let me do this and see if that does anything. Share that. I'm going to have to close all these things then. Probably. Okay. So I have to do this and then get rid of this. And for some reason, I will have to try to do this in a different window. Let's see if that fixes it. Like that's the only way now. I have to reload all this. Okay, get rid of this. Okay, get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay, get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay, get rid of this. All right, get rid of this. Okay, get rid of this. Okay. All right, done. And then this. And then this. Finally. Okay. Okay, let's see. All right, then now let me try to reshare. It's definitely not it. It's still trying to load that. Then go here instead. All right, solved it. Weird. I have no idea why it lists every tab as a separate screen when it shouldn't do that. It should treat every object within a window and that's it, instead of trying to do so. There must be some kind of weird bug going on there where it's trying to open it up like that. Makes no sense why it would do that, but All right, making a note that it's possible that there's a bug. All right, that's what happens when you use other people's software. It can't control anything. What are you going to do? Okay. All right. So I was reading this. That was what I was reading to you guys. Blah, blah, blah. NVIDIA just guided $108 billion in revenue. That's what it is. Okay. Also, we had the PCE data. Now, I didn't care about this. So far, we've been having a lot of economic data that's come through, and it's really has not done anything. Has very little effect right now. Taco doesn't affect anything either. You saw last night after the close, Trump. There was some rumor that there was some backdoor deal with Pakistan, Iran, Trump, blah blah blah, and it crashed like the oil, like after hours. And then this morning we had a drop in a lot of the oil companies. Okay, if you look at like the list down below, you have the refinery stocks. So a lot of them got hit pretty badly, alongside with everything else in the oil complex, oil, gas, whatever complex. And that would have been a good time to buy, I suppose. I looked at it, I was like, whoa, 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 what's this? Is this a good time to buy? So yeah, there was something going on there. But overall, the rest of the market, the tech market, it doesn't care. It's worried about earnings right now. Only thing that matters right now is earnings, earnings, earnings. We don't really seem to have much of a give or care or whatever a reason, right, to look at the Strait of Hormuz anymore, or even the bond market. Bond market's going crazy, but up and down, but that seems to only have a big deal to Bitcoin, crypto, right? Ethereum, Ripple, bond market itself, gold, silver, and copper. But tech, nah. Software, nah, right? Semiconductors, whatever. It's all about the earnings on that side. So Taco isn't really going to hurt or help it. That's not the case. We've also seen the Treasury Department try to do stuff. Muted response, not really much of a response from that either. So as you can tell, I'm not really caring about this economic data either. This economic stuff I don't think will affect it that much, unless it's a big surprise. I don't think so. So far we have 0.2% core PCE versus the 0.3. Well, did it do anything this morning? Probably didn't matter. They were just worried about like the Nvidia stuff and the whole Strait of Hormuz thing. So why do we care about that? But no, there's nothing changing in the status quo with the Strait of Hormuz. Personal spending doesn't look like there was much of a deviance from the expected value. Personal income, okay, a little bit better than expected. So what? Growth rate 1.5% quarter over quarter for GDP. The second estimate for that, but this is kind of like Q2 data. So maybe the market really doesn't care about what happened in the past at this point. Durable goods, 1.1%. Durable goods. Okay, that's a lot better than I guess expected, but I don't know if that really matters either. So what really matters? Okay, the other thing, we have this crude oil stocks change. Maybe this would affect it. And gasoline. Gasoline demand is still big. Okay, so you had that drop in the morning, and I think this will help out in people worrying about demand softening. Well, demand has not softened for gasoline, at least. Anything else? Distillate, fuel production. Okay, distillate. So this is some of the byproducts of crude oil. Well, demand is still looking good here. Very good. So when you see a negative number here, that's good. That means a lot of people are consuming the crude oil products. And then we have heating oil stock change. Okay, well, this heating oil is basically diesel. So this one in a positive territory. So I guess demand is softening there. Diesel is very expensive. In California, I believe diesel is regularly at $7 plus. That's going to hit my wallet when you go shopping, because diesel is used for fuel. That is to transport things, right? So that's it. But anyway, who cares? Who cares about any of this? We'll have some jobs data tomorrow, but that's the normal weekly jobs data. I don't think that'll affect anything. And then Friday, again, 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll have Kevin Warsh speak, and then we'll have our payrolls, non-farm payrolls revision. All right, okay. We got some revisions to do. They're going to change. I haven't seen any revisions on payroll data that really affected anything either. They just don't care. And then the other thing, also at the same time, is the Michigan consumer sentiment. Yeah, this thing matters, but the low was made in May, so May was your bottom in it. So usually when you have very bearish consumer sentiment numbers that go towards 40, that marks the low in the usually in the markets. So we've been having these low numbers before. You see, remember 2022? Yeah, a lot of people were very bearish in 2022. That's for sure. And that was kind of like a bottom. It was a bottom, not the bottom, but June, July 2022 was a bottom for the stock market. It revisited that bottom in late 2022 towards Christmas, right? And then we kind of had like a slight bottom in 2023, a little bit above it, and that's when the market started going back. And we've been falling ever since. Consumer sentiment has been going down. Does that mean the market will go down with it? No. Nope. Nope. A lot of people can feel bad, but it doesn't mean anything for the actual stock market. Stock market can go up no matter how you feel about things. What does matter, though, is the inflation expectations. So the Michigan survey for inflation expectations could be a problem. Sometimes it's a problem. I don't know. If it gets bigger than expected, if it shoots back up to 5%, guess what? That bond market's going to crater again. So if you're in gold, if you're in silver, and then this thing and Kevin Warsh and whatever, all that in combination, it could be the top, right? For silver, gold, and whatever. But it might not affect the tech companies. Marvell, Nvidia, probably way more important than anything this thing does. I have a feeling that the Kevin Warsh stuff, this economic stuff, it will hurt your crypto, it will hurt your gold and silver, but I think tech can kind of ride it out. So that's why I recommended those tech companies if you wanted to trade today in the morning. That was it. That's all I wanted to mention. And this, I'm feeling greedy. Yeah, so this is Hormaxer here. That's why I wanted to show you. That's what the thumbnail was about. So yes, I am greedy. I am getting a lot more greedy about the tech side of things. At least for semiconductors, I think can ride it out. It can go up. If you're telling me about software, however, I don't feel like it's a good idea to chase software, even though I showed you all those earnings today, which were looking all positive. So that means there's not much left in software that could hurt it except for Oracle. Oracle is the big daddy that always disappoints. It's the big boy that always disappoints for some reason. And also Oracle might hurt the semiconductors. So if you're worried about anything, worry about Oracle more likely than not. And let's see, it's expected to report September 14th. So it's really late. So let me double check that for you guys. Man, yeah, I know it's late, but is it that late? So TradingView is telling me it's September 14th. That's nice because it gives you a lot of breathing room from Nvidia's, but I swore that it was a lot closer than that. Oracle earnings expected date. Really? September 8th is what Yahoo tells me. In either case, that's still pretty far away. So 14th would be better. That gives me an extra week. Oh, man. I wish it was later, but I guess we don't know the official date yet. So at any moment, there should be an announcement this week that should tell you when Oracle really wants to report earnings. But if it's later, at least like the 8th or 10th, okay, that's fine. 14th gives me another week. 14th plus whatever. Nice. That's even nicer. I'm going to be more greedy. And we can be looking for stocks like this, okay? Like Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply stock. I know Dick's Sporting Goods crashed like 30% yesterday. That might be something that we could look at. But anyhow, I wanted to point out this thing though. This thing. As you know, QQQ has just had 8 straight days of closing below the open. This must be super bearish, right? Sell everything and move to a cave. No, actually not. And now it's time to start looking for the big move up. So I'm getting a lot more. Oh, Dix took a beating. Yeah. Dix was funny back in COVID. That was a fun one to get. So when during COVID, all the store retail stocks crashed a lot. You know, Macy's, Dick's. If you got into Dick's, you made out pretty well. So that was a good time to trade brick and mortar stocks. After that, I never looked at that stuff again. I ain't looking at Macy's, Nordstrom's, or Nordstrom's is private now, right? It got turned into private, or was it always private? Man, I forget if Nordstrom was ever a stock now. Yeah, it's been a long time since I ever looked at retail. Abercrombie and Fitch today did well though, so I'm gonna be looking at that for you guys because I did like. I think I went over Nike, and then I was just joking around that Nike made a new low like last week or something, and it still made another new low again this week, and I said, actually, it looks tempting to buy. Nike actually looks good to buy. So yeah, but I'll look at that Zeta stock for you now. So let me see. Okay, let me look at the monthly DeMark indicator for you. So what would be the target for Zeta on the monthly? I don't think we have enough data on the monthly, but as you can see, like we're going back up to the old high. I think the weekly definitely has a target though. So let's look at the weekly for the DeMark. And we hit a 13 a few weeks ago, and we're about to get to a 9 next week. Okay, so this will be a natural resting spot. It doesn't mean like it's going to crash or anything, but it could, right? This could be like, oh, it's going to be violent sideways. Usually when you see a 13, it's like it's going to take a while before it continues on the move up. So if you're looking to buy a dip again, like let's say you held it up until now, and you're going like, well, should I sell it now? Software kind of looks overextended. Yeah, it's true. All the software companies reporting earnings, they're moving up, but I think this is just temporary. By the time we get to Oracle's earnings sometime around September 11th, September 8th, I don't know. I would be running away. I would just be trying to run away. It's just like, dude, I don't trust Oracle. Forget it. The semiconductors are probably going to be done by then, right? We have Broadcom and who else needs to report? Micron will report late. It won't be that. It'll be Broadcom will be next. So the target, though, is 54. 54 for this Zeta. That's the target we got right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're trying to make a 5 at some point, this 5. Once you get to 53, I'm guessing if the software side is really strong, it should easily break out. Like it'll get to 53 and then all of a sudden go crazy mode. Because that's happened, right? With SanDisk. Definitely it's happened with SanDisk. So if you look at SanDisk's thing here, I think, or Micron. Maybe Micron's better. Micron has more history, so it's not going to be SanDisk. Probably Micron I was looking at. Or was it gold or silver? One of those, man. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Micron. So let me get rid of these things. Combo, all these counts. So just look at this red line, right? This red line here. 5, A, B, C. And then we had this 1, 2, and we're making a 3. And then once it hit this target, it went sideways for a bit. And then started running up like even higher. So when you look at the software companies like Zeta and all that, if you look at that target, I think once we get to that point and we start like going sideways here, maybe we'll go sideways. Maybe we'll just break through. There's a chance that it'll just start going wild. It'll just get pressure. I think a lot of these software stocks have a lot more shorts hiding out, like Palantir, right? You know that Michael Burry is shorting Palantir. There's probably tons of people shorting a lot of these software as a service stocks like Zeta. Zeta is a software as a service stock. So let's say Palantir, we get and we hit 326. You think it's going to stop here? I don't think so. I think once it hits 326, it might pause a little bit, right? It might pause for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, it'll just get some catalyst that'll just keep pushing it up. I don't understand the market indicators at all. Is this something I need to research? Yeah, you should research the Jason Pearl book. You got that Jason Pearl book? And go to the D wave section. So I'm looking at this D wave. So they use the Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC system. So look at Elliott wave and in the Jason Pearl book and the D wave, right? The D wave, and look at in the Jason Pearl book on the mark indicators. Okay. Yeah, so the plastic surgeon guy was the one that did the made me look at this D wave stuff, the C5, looking at the C5. So that's always like, oh, C5. You see a C5, that's a good bottom and a good top. Usually that's how it works here when you have a lot of data. But you can see like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going down, and then A, B, C going up. But then we have the red 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see it. We hit the 3 target up here, and then we barely went sideways for a few weeks, and then we started rallying up again. I think the next time Palantir it hits this 326 target, it's not going to stop at 326. We're going to go a lot higher. We're definitely going to go a lot higher. Michael Burry is going to be in a world of hurt, because if Scott Bessent and all these guys want to juice the market, want to pump AI, we're not stopping at these little targets here. These are just like conservative targets now. I don't believe it's just going to stop. We're continuing on higher. Yeah. What's another thing that's good to look at? Let's see. What's a good stock to look at that has nice looking ones? I mean, MSTR. Definitely, I can use MSTR. That's definitely one I could use. Or I could use yeah, we covered this one already, right? So you can see here, MSTR, the little Bitcoin proxy, Michael Saylor little thing here. You see the target 3 for the 3. So you could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we hit we hit it right there. That's pretty perfect. So sometimes when it wants to, it just hits it and then goes sideways for a long time. We hit it and we just went sideways for a long time. That's many weeks here. Many weeks. Pretty much 9 I guess 9 months. This is about 9 months. It's nearly a year. This is at least 6 to 9 months, 6 months. So it must be 9. And then we hit this next target at 315, and we started going sideways. So sometimes it acts as a really good way to tell, like, hey, you know what? This stock is about to be boring. But when you have like a lot of enthusiasm, and I have a feeling like when you look at the cycles for software, it's going to be strong next year. If Palantir can hit those in these little red lines here quick and fast and strong, yeah, right? Or Zeta or whatever, any other software company you think you might be wanting to look at, I think, it's not going to stop. I don't think it's going to stop. It might stop for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, but then it'll just continue on as if like it wasn't even there. So Okta, right, is reported earnings. We have up 20%. This one has been going sideways for so long from 2022. This thing is so boring, right? So boring. But now it's getting exciting. The next target is 450. This was one that I thought like was going to be a really good one. Another bottom feeding one. Yeah. The mark indicator by Jason Pearl. Yep. Look at the D wave chapter. Look at the D wave chapter. So this is just dealing with the D wave, not that 13s, not the 913 stuff, the sequential and combo. Just dealing with the D wave. Only retail I respect is CtC's. Yep. Looks like CtC's is the one that's gonna be good. All right, let me look at Dick's. Might as well look at Dick's Sporting Goods. Might as well see what that's up, and then I'll look at Nike. Dick's. Yeah, DKS. Okay. How does this one look? Hey, look at that. It hit the target here, the green target. The green target is the bearish target. The red target is the bullish target. 1, 2, 3. So maybe this is a good time if you've been waiting to buy Dick's. Yeah, start paying attention how it behaves at 120, 130, 110. So maybe in the coming weeks as it hangs out, it's not gonna V bottom. This thing is not gonna V bottom. So you can wait. Set a watch, a little alert for yourself, right? Just set a little alert, say like, hey, if you stick around at 120, 110, set an alert and say like, maybe I'll look back at this in a few weeks and you might want to buy it. So let's look at the sequential numbers here. Oh, look at that. It hit a 13 right here, and then since then it went down, 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 and it crashed. Next week we'll have a 9. So next week might be it for it. It's gonna stay going sideways at this bottom. How about the combo? Yeah, not much difference. So there we are. If you can buy it at 110, if you're lucky to get it that cheap, or $100, who knows? Maybe it'll go lower. You could hold it and potentially it'll go back up to $350. I have no idea if Dick's Sporting Goods is actually a good, well-run stock. No right side of it. Yeah, it's not gonna V bottom, no way. But you could see if it makes a little range down here, right? If it makes a little range through the end of the year, so by the time you get to Christmas, you'd be like, well, maybe Dick's Sporting Goods will turn around and I should just get in and do a trade. Why not? Why not? I think the last time I've been to Dick's Sporting Goods, it didn't look like a good company. So I was not surprised that it's doing this. I don't think it's a well-run company, honestly, personally. But, you know, caveat emptor, buyer beware. Let's see, Nike. Nike might be better, though. Nike might be better. It's been going down for so long that we've got the C5. You see the C5? Yep, we have a C5. Doesn't mean we're done though. Next week could be another C5, right? Every time it makes a new low, the C5 will just move down, 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 closer and closer to this green level. The ideal spot would be like I could buy Nike at $30, right? And then if you bought a call at such a cheap level, I'm sure that makes a lot more sense. You could buy a leap and be like, I'll just buy a leap of Nike and see if next year it'll just go up higher. Then I could just be fine. I could just sell it. By the time Nike gets to $60, I'm out. I don't really care. But yes, this looks like a good time to buy. You got the 13 in the sequential here. You got the C5. Maybe it could touch 30, but it could hold out at near 40. That's fine. And keep going, and you'll buy it going into the end of the year. So if you're looking to buy a bottom, it did it. It hit its target. You see the 1 over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're done. And we do the ABC. Once you see the C5, we're done. So the C5 marked the top, C5 marked the bottom. So read the book, read the D-Wave stuff, and then what's it say about Nike? Nike is such garbage. They say Nike resales are dead. I remember people were making bots to buy new releases to flip them. Yeah, somebody told me that too. There's like a huge resale market with the Nike stuff, and people traded them like stocks. And for a while, I'm sure they moved on to Pokemon cards. People will tax loss harvest in December era. Yes, I would think so. That's why I wouldn't be in a rush to get it. By the time it hits November, they probably will start thinking of selling more and more into the first weeks of December, and then you could just be like, oh, okay, maybe it's a bottom, then I'll move in. So if you buy it, it's just for a flip, right? Because at some point, bad news will not make it go down anymore. That's what would happen. A lot of times, same thing with China. When you look at China, it's the same way. Everybody knew Xi Jinping was going to be dictator for life or whatever, and then the rumors come in, they get worse and worse and worse, and then you make a bottom here when the final bad news comes out. So Nike will probably have more bad news, bad earnings, but at a certain point, it's not as bad as people expect, and then it starts going up again because you exhausted all the sellers. All the sellers have gone. Right here, that's what happened. Once you got that, you get this little first initial bounce, and then you go sideways. You want to catch Nike when it makes that bounce because the trade is so great. The first bounce is like the best bounce from a oversold, beaten down stock. Nike, when you see something go straight down like that, you want to catch that first bounce. After that first bounce, who cares about that stock anymore? You're not for a trade. I mean, if you're looking at for an investment, it's going to have to do a lot better than that, right? You can't just be like, oh, okay, we hit the bottom, it's time to invest in Nike. No, it could go sideways forever, just like China did right here. How many years have we gone sideways in China compared to like you buying an American stock? You could have bought any American stock and you would beat China. And then now India is doing the same thing, right? India is going down, straight down right now. I don't know if you want to buy it, but anyhow. So if we look at China, KWeb, I'm like, okay, is China ready to buy? Am I ready to buy China? Well, I'm waiting for that C. I'm waiting for the C here to complete. Once we get that C, then I'm more confident in China to buy. Now let's look at the KC, which is my favorite tech Chinese stock, KC. Okay, so we got the 3, the 4. My target is still 34. This is a little bit different from the KWeb, right? So I'm hoping when the other tech stocks in China go down and make the C, I'm ready to buy and scoop up here. So watch KC as it goes into 10, 9, 8. If it can hold 10, 9, and 8, all right, we're going good. We're going good. Yeah, the opportunity cost of investing in China is terrible. So I think that's what's going to happen in Nike. We're going to make a crazy looking bottom. People get scared. They get out. You come in to trade it for the first initial squeeze up, and then you get out. And then you get out. And you made your money that way, and you don't want to look at Nike again. If you want to look at Nike again, it has to do a lot more work, right? Yeah. That's just what I'm guessing. Okay, Abercrombie and Fitch did well today. So we got one, Abercrombie and Fitch. I think it's ABF, right? ABF? Yeah. Is it? ABF? I thought it was ABF. All right, hold on. Let me see. Let me double check. ANF. Oh, my bad. Why did I think it was B in there? That's stupid. Why did I thought it was a B? It makes no sense. Of course, Abercrombie and Fitch. Why would I say B? Okay, 3, 4. All right. They're up 35%. So this week. Next target is 305. So we got one of these apparel stocks doing well here. So if you don't like Nike, you have Abercrombie and Fitch. So looking good. But you can see like it went sideways for a long time here. It followed up after the April thing, right? The April tariff stuff, but quickly lost it all into the end of the year, and then earnings pushed it back up, and then lost it at the beginning of this year. But this is significant, I guess. I'm guessing this is very significant. We made a new high here, and I don't think it's gonna go down to $3, $4. So the worst case is this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I don't think so. I think this is good. This looks good. We went sideways for a while. It looks like we're breaking a range. So it's just something that I noticed. I thought it like if you were liking retail and apparel stocks, and you were looking at it, why not? I gave you an idea. Abercrombie and Fitch looks okay. How about Lululemon? Another terrible one. Another one that looks like it just keeps on going down, 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 down since 2024. I don't know. It tried to make a recovery here, but I see a C5. I see a C5. Let me check if it already reported earnings. I think it did. I think Lululemon already did. right? Oh no, it didn't. Shoot. September 3rd. Okay, damn. Well, okay, let me look at the sequential here. Darn, man. That C5 could go down even further. Oh boy. Yeah, not really safe then. Okay, what other one? We have ELF. ELF was a makeup stock. I was gonna look at the makeup stock. I think this one reported earnings recently. Did it? Did it? Let's see. Yeah, this one's been doing good. Yeah. Okay. And then Ulta, I think, reported earnings this week, right? I think Ulta did. Ulta. Let's see. Or is it gonna do it tomorrow? It might do it tomorrow, actually. Yes, tomorrow after the close, Ulta, another makeup stock. Okay. I'd rather play ELF. ELF is a nice tradable stock. This is so wild. The ELF one just goes up and down like a nut. Yeah, come on here. Yeah, this is nuts. This is nuts. This is nuts. So I'm gonna watch how ELF reacts to Ulta. That's what I will do. Let's see what that does. Because I think ELF is a long reported earnings. Yeah, reported earnings right at the resistance level. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like we're already starting an uptrend, a new uptrend for ELF right here. Okay. So if you look at this one, we have the 5 right back in April 20th last year. And I'm guessing this C was over here. So the C5 was already made here. But because we made this a double bottom here, the C got moved over here. And that's fine. That's okay. Yeah, it failed, right? You see the failure to keep on moving. We had this nasty earnings on ELF. So a lot of people have wrote this stock for dead after this terrible earnings back in November 2nd. And I've just been watching this one. I've been waiting to see if this one's good to trade, because you could tell, like, at certain points in time it has a nice clean move up. So in 2022 to 2023 was a very good one. And even if you held through this little bottom here, you could make a new high, because you went from 100 to 200 in February 2024. So this has a potential to do that, ELF. But I'm really reluctant to recommend a retail or apparel or makeup discretionary type stocks like this, because we've seen terrible things already happen with Walmart. Walmart reported earnings last week. It failed. Dick's Sporting Goods reported this week, failed. And I think, what did they say? They said this was the worst. What was it? The worst one? The worst of earnings on Walmart for a long ass time. I get $75 of Lulu credits per quarter through Amex. Oh yeah, dude. If you look at your credit cards, they always give you some stupid deals for all these stores. They probably have one for Abercrombie too, and freaking. But I don't shop that much, so I don't really care about that. But they always give me the emails and all that. It's like every month it's something new. It's like, oh, okay, buy this. But anyhow, look at this. C5 here. All right. So it looks like it's confirmed, because this drop was pretty bad. We already had a A1 here. Okay. So we've been riding pretty nicely since 2024 a little bit, for a little while. And now we got this. So how do we consider? We're going to make a B. We're going to make a C. I think it looks like it's over for Walmart. At least on the weekly chart. I'm looking at this, is like, this doesn't look very bullish. It looks like we've already topped in Walmart. We're ready to go down in Walmart. And tomorrow, you know what? We have Dollar Tree, and Dollar General. Dollar Tree and Dollar General. What was that? Ross Dress for Less last week was okay. Target last week was okay. But Walmart was not good. Dick's is not good. Now I'm looking at Dollar Tree and Dollar General. Is this one good? We've been having a hard time with this stock, right? It goes down, it goes up, it goes down. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. There's no trend at all. We keep going back and forth like a ping pong between these two levels. Okay, but not well. Man, it doesn't look good. Yeah, this thing doesn't look good on the weekly. Not at all. Okay, Dollar General doesn't look good. Not ready. This ain't ready yet. I think this is hard to tell what this means for the economy. Usually, if the Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Walmart all do very well, it kind of signals something about the economy, because they're all part of the staple side. I think. I'm trying to remember if all three are part of the staple side. Let me ask the AI. Pretty sure it is. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Walmart part of XLP. Let's see. I believe all three are. Yes, they are all part of the XLP. So sometimes you would say, like, you look at Walmart and it's not doing well. Is that necessarily a bad thing or not? It's up to the eye of the beholder, you know? So if we look at the ratio, XLY to XLP, that's what I would be worried about. As long as the XLY side of the economy is going up, the Lululemons, the Abercrombie and Fitch, if those guys are going up compared to the Walmart, Dollar General, and Dollar Tree, maybe that means we're fine. Although even I'm looking at this, it doesn't look good either. Nothing here looks good. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff that don't look very nice right now for the non-tech sector overall. So it's just hard to tell how bad. Small caps is another way. I look at small caps. Small caps is doing fine. It's telling me the economy is great. Banks. Okay, KRE. If I look at KRE, how is this one? We had a drop because of Basent last week. Some people thought this is not a good sign. Some people said don't care. That's the problem, right? You could look at everybody can look at the same thing and take a different meaning from it. So kind of hard right now. That's why you're getting a lot of people saying all kinds of stuff. However, I'm just gonna be like, I'm greedy. I don't care. I'm just gonna say buy SanDisk, buy AX TI. So let's look at those and then go on from there. Because if we look at those things, the retail stuff side of the stock market, I can't figure it out. Like it doesn't tell me a thing. It's a mixed message. Okay, SanDisk right now is like this before the close, right? This was what it looked like before the close. And right now it's up 2.39 after overnight. So the worst case scenario was Nvidia would fail and this thing would go down, or Marvell and Nvidia fail, or add on Kevin Warsh and this thing would all go down together. That's what I would be worried about. So I guess that's not happening. Maybe so I guess I'm gonna keep on assuming this is gonna be good. Now let's look at AXTI. See how that one is. AXTI looks a lot better because you have this 1, 2, buy this 2, and then I'm gonna get the 3. So 65 to 135. That's the target. So short term with this daily counts here, it looks good. How about the no nothing? I'm pretty sure that's nothing. Yeah. And then lastly, LUNR. LUNR, how about that one? So those are the three. I said if you guys wanted to trade, you do those three. This one's a little bit weaker, but because of the way the earnings was last week, I'm fairly kind of bullish with this. And I think after hours it's doing well, right? So let me check. After hours. Because HUT was up for a while. NBIS was up. So Lunar was up. Well, okay. So it was up quite a bit and then it just gave it away. So nothing. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to react tomorrow, but maybe it will just move up and cancel this. But this is kind of worrying because you got the C5 ABC type deal going here. So it might not work out for this, but we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Because if we just look at the traditional technical analysis, it looks better, you know. But with the DeMarc counts like this, no, it doesn't look that good. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I think gold and silver, we can just. I don't think there's anything new. Yeah, it's still moving up. But so this is gold. This is the gold ETF. I use GLD to measure this. Look at the 75 or 78-minute chart. I mean, and I think it's like goes to the top. We already hit the top, at least in GDX terms. Yeah, you see this? We already hit the C5 already 2 days ago on Monday. We really haven't changed a thing. Yeah, if you sold on Friday, you're fine. It got pretty much, but we've already hit this area here. You see the C5 here. Then we did the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A. Now we're going down. A, B, C. I think we're done. Yeah, with the gold and silver. I don't see much from this. So my guess is like Kevin Warsh is going to say something, or plus the economic data, plus the Michigan report. Maybe all those in combination will stop this from moving up. So I'd be worried about like the Ripple and all that. I saw Ripple go down today, right? Silver, right? Almost here. Yeah, silver. And then Ripple, XRP, USD. Yeah. Yeah, I got to change this to the 140 or 240, I mean. 240 interval, not this interval. This is not right. Crypto doesn't run on a 78. So we've been moving down. However, if you look at this, we made a 9. We got up to this level high here, and then now we're made a bottom 9. And we have a 1, 2. If you're a gambler on crypto, watch this area. This might be the place to start looking to buy if you haven't bought already. If you're gambling on it moving up, the next move up is going towards $2.13 or $2.1398, 0.1398. Whatever. Okay, let me see what the combo is. Nothing. I don't think this thing will tell anything. Nope, nothing. Ichimoku cloud. Oh yeah, see, you hit the Ichimoku cloud. Very good. Ichimoku cloud will save you. There you are. So yes, if you want to buy Ripple, there. I'm telling you to buy right now. This is my I Ching for you. This is my I Ching. This is it. Buy the Ripple. We're going up to 2. Okay, the next move is 2, and then you can sell. Okay, let me look at Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Let's see Bitcoin. Oh man, Bitcoin looks boring. Boo, Bitcoin. We just got a 9, and a 13 here. So what does this mean? Yeah, this doesn't tell me anything. Come on, tell me anything. I think the Wyckoff guys said it was gonna go to 80K or 90K. 90K. Now the DeMarc target right here with the 240-minute says we're going back up to 108. 108 on Bitcoin. Okay, sure. Let me change it to the Binfinex. Let me see if that changes the target. No, it doesn't change the target. So we have to get through 81,700, then 88,700, then 95,682. And if we get through all those 3 stops, 108,794. There we are. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking to trade this, it's possible, right? But we did hit a 13. I don't know how long it would take to like go sideways, because if you look at history, Whenever we hit a 13 on this area, look how long it took to go sideways. This was like 9 up, 9 down, again 9 up, 9 up, and then after that it still kept going. This was so boring, dude. But if Kevin Warsh is okay, maybe that's fine. All right, let's look at Ethereum. Let's get Ethereum for you guys here. Man, Ethereum looks bearish. Yeah. It's already doing A and B and C. Let's see, Bitfinex. Damn, Ethereum's done. Is that what it is? Is this what it's telling me here? Look at a lot of volume came in this side though. That's a lot of volume coming in here for Bitfinex. Let me look at Coinbase. Oh, that's interesting. So the Bitfinex exchange, there was a lot of volume at this low. Wonder why. Yeah, did somebody really think this was a good spot to buy? Man. Anyhow, this one's hard to tell, huh? This one's not easy to tell. Anyway, buy Ripple. Buy Ripple. Buy Ripple. Ripple's the only one I'm certain will go up higher for sure at the near term. That's right. Buy Ripple before it goes to 2. 2 is next stop. 2 is the next stop, guys. Okay. All right. Don Carlos agrees. Yes, Don Carlos definitely agrees. All right, get rid of that. Let's see, replace show. Okay, now I'm get back here to the ELF stuff. Okay, I talked about ELF again. We see the earnings here. We marked a bottom. That was fine. That was in June. We've been rising up, so I've been watching this thing, see what happens in the next one. We had this earnings here, pull back. Looks like we supported it. This next area is a gap between 90 and 121. Once we get through all that, then I don't need to worry about this anymore because this looked like a top, right? This looked like a topping pattern. If this thing failed, it would just crash back through to 50. And then once we get there, it's probably over for this stock. It's going down to 20. But if it survives this, I'm getting a lot more bullish now on this guy. And maybe this whole thing is actually turning into a bullish structure going up. Hard to tell though. Hard to tell for now. Let's look at the week or monthly. Let's look at the monthly. Okay, not much history. This thing opened in 2016. I guess this was the IPO. I'm not sure. We retested it during 2022 at this point before rocketing higher. So this was when I got in. I was looking at this stock and I was saying like, damn, look at this thing. This has pretty good consistent trend build up from May, June, July 2022, August, and I was like, okay, I'm in at 30. I'll get in 30. I didn't know it was going to go this high, right? I didn't have the DeMark stuff. I didn't really know. It's just like whatever. I see this whole range here. I'm just making an assumption. Now it's been very volatile. We had these nasty looking candles after earnings, so this candle here got wiped out by these two down here. But as you can see, look at the volume coming in on these 2 weeks. So this is weekly, so that's pretty important. You got this 2 weeks, and then we start melting up on decreasing volume. And now we're retesting these moving averages. We're retesting this range here. Okay, ELF. Tomorrow we will have Ulta earnings. If this guy actually does, like the earnings from its competitors, like Ulta, I think we also already had like several months already. We had earnings from Estee Lauder. Actually, Kevin Warsh, his wife, is the heiress of Estee Lauder. So he's married into Estee Lauder, into the Estee Lauder like wealth or family or whatever. And you can tell by this one. This one has had a terrible time, very terrible time here, very terrible time. And looks like the earnings, I guess 3 weeks ago, is okay. And we reversed this candle right now. We're testing. So Estee Lauder, ELF, and Ulta, 3 makeup companies that have had terrible looking charts, starting to look good. We have a pinch here. So this is monthly. Like, look, this is monthly. I have to take this more seriously. If you have like this MACD starting to look like that, you have a pinch, you have a duck bill. So you have a duck bill shape here. You're moving up on the green. Like, I can't ignore this one. So all the makeup stocks are looking good. Tariffs killed Estee Lauder, maybe. Yeah, tariffs might have killed Estee Lauder, I'm sure. Something like it might have been just demand, like, or it's just a poorly run company. Sometimes companies they just don't adapt fast enough and they get killed by margins. But yes, the margins did get killed by a lot of retail companies got killed by tariffs because they were squeezing into margins. And as you know, tariffs have been repealed by the Supreme Court and they've been getting refunds so far. So ever since that Supreme Court overturned a lot of the tariffs, these companies have been getting refunds, but they're not refunding you in the price, right? That's why now inflation is staying high, because once they jacked up the price because of tariffs, you think they're going to reduce those prices? And nope, you got used to the tariff prices. So they're not in a hurry to reduce the prices as long as you pay. So this looks like a good bottom. This looks like a seriously good bottom. Yes. Yes. This looks good. This looks good. So look for these makeup companies. Look for any of them that's like this. I would say we're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll here. Okay. That was enough. Let me look back at the AXTI stock, and then I'm going to continue on yammering about the some of the other. Do I have enough time? So I already yammered enough. So what I'm gonna do is a lot of the stuff I'm talking about to you right now, I have to put into the Substack. All right, especially the software stuff for sure. Software stuff, companies. So let me see. I think the daily is what I wanted to look at. Yeah, the daily. I think I want to look at the daily AXTI. Yeah, okay. I think I was gonna look at the daily. That's it. So let me get rid of the drawings here. Hide the drawings. So if you just look at the moving average of this one, you can see we already made a move up. So if you missed out on buying it in July and you were just waiting, patiently waiting to see if it pull back, we pulled back right on Monday. So that was the time to buy. That was the time to buy, regardless of the Nvidia stuff. If you got worried about Nvidia, what would you have done? Either you do an options trade to try to limit your loss because you were afraid that Nvidia would spoil the party, or you would like buy the shares here and then short the futures. A lot of people do that too. They just buy the shares and then if they don't want to learn about options or use options, they would just buy the shares, short the futures. So they would short like E-mini futures, the ES, or they would short the NQ, the NASDAQ 100 futures, to hedge it. So you would hedge by shorting the index, being afraid of Nvidia, or you would be like, whatever, use options. Anyhow, I was sort of right. Yeah, we went sideways. We went up sideways, and now would be the time to buy, right? The last few days before Nvidia, and then we'll go up. Let me check. So overnight, we're now up 5.67% on AXTI. I'm guessing the Koreans are happy, gonna pump it up into pre-market. Pre-market, people wake up, they get happy, they start buying too, and by the time it opens, we're already like flying back up into the 80s or 90s or something stupid. So unless they just like it's temporary, I think with Marvell reporting earnings, then Kevin Warsh, we should be easily breaking this pink line. So the next time we hit this pink line, we should get through and go to 140. So that's why I pick. So Tropes asked me what stocks would I pick to trade. That's what I would pick for that reason. So AXTI was one, SanDisk is the other. SanDisk is more clean, has a cleaner look, right? SanDisk has a more cleaner look. This has a more cleaner look. You can see you make the duckbill shape here. SanDisk is up 2.73%. You touch the moving average. This one hasn't crossed over the 40. The 18 hasn't crossed over the 40 yet. My bear case was that it was going to go sideways like this, but it didn't happen, right? We bounced very nice. We went to earnings, which kind of stopped it for a little while. The earnings kind of stopped the momentum, but finally we got the investor day. Investor day here pushed it up, and we moved on from it. So it went up, minor top. We pulled back. This is the place to go and buy. So this brown line I drew matched it pretty well. So not bad, not bad. I was pretty good at guessing what it was going to do. So SanDisk is going to do that move here, go back up to the top. Maybe we'll get back up to the top. Marvell does well. Kevin Warsh doesn't spoil the party. We're going to go up here into September 11th, and that's when you short it. So if you want to short the market, short SanDisk when it gets back up here. That's what you want to do, okay? Look for that. So next one, LUNR. I picked this one because it had the similar look to SanDisk, and also because the earnings did that. You could see, like this one, we already had the crossover here. The problem now is the weakness from this is a lot worse than the other two. Well, no, not exactly. AXTI is kind of worse than this, but at least this one had the crossover here. There it could go down, right? This thing could just melt down. I can't tell. So you're gonna have to play the game where hopefully it doesn't hit your stop loss. So if you put your stop loss around here, right, 15 or 16, you're like, whoops, and then it just bounces back up. Whoa, damn, you got screwed. So this one's kind of tricky, and it's not semiconductor either. So it doesn't look like it's getting the benefit from Nvidia right now. But maybe tomorrow it will change its mind and go with the Nasdaq, and we'll move up. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, so there we go. I can never time SanDisk right. Yeah, that's why you need the DeMark stuff. I think the only way is with the DeMark stuff. You have a Substack? Yeah, I already like here. I'll give you the link. There's nothing on there right now. I gave the link for a while. Done and let me see Substack. So I have to. I think I'm gonna get to it, but it's like I'm always like, man, I get sidetracked and then I get yeah, here you are. Go here. That's a placeholder for now. Go over there. Or do buybacks. Let's see. Let me read your comments. Hold on. Damn it. Stop scrolling. Man, I keep scrolling instead of just doing. Okay, weird. All right, let's see. These companies should pay out a one-time special dividend. Yeah, they won't spend anymore. I think they're kind of tough to spend. They're already slowing down on the buybacks on a lot of these companies. So yeah, there we are. Anyhow, go to this one. Yeah, Dawn and Trust. That's my placeholder for now. So for now, I'm gonna start populating that with something, maybe sometime down the line for sure. But it's gonna be important because we're gonna have a lot of stocks to cover, and I can't just be babbling about every stock I'm picking at this point. It's just gonna get too crazy once the party gets going. Because here's my next picks. I got this huge list, right? So we were talking about SpaceX at one point, and we hit the top here. We went right towards this red line, and we got stuck. And so it's like now you're like waiting for it. Like, okay, now you're stuck. What are we gonna do? And then we had SK Hynix. Yeah, okay, we're stuck here too. We don't know what to do. So yes, that's the ones I want to look at. But I had others. We got Workday. Workday will report earnings tomorrow. Workday, another software company. You see this one? I was looking at this for a while, and then the Wyckoff guys recently had a presentation about two other stocks that are similar to this. You have this range, very nice range built up here, and then you had a breakout in July. Very nice. Now we're getting to earnings. If we actually do good in earnings and we do this going into October, then next year we're going to finally break out. So as long as earnings doesn't make a new like crazy low that's going towards the red again, like don't go back towards here, like stay floating above, make it look nice for us, then yeah, workday is going to be one of them. We have this rubric. I think this one also had earnings to come. Like, yeah, okay. Let's see. Was it after hours? I don't remember. After hours. I don't think so. It's tomorrow, huh? Yeah, tomorrow. It's right at the it's right at resistance. It's right at resistance. This thing is right at resistance. And we had Rumble. Rumble, we had earnings. We had earnings some time ago. Right? And this thing also, like some other stocks we were looking at, it had the right look. You initially go down in earnings and then you make a new high at the same day and then you run towards the resistance. So exactly when it hit the resistance, bam, red candle. All right. Good. Now, what I want to see from you, Rumble, before I believe that you actually are no longer a crappy streaming website because you want to do AI, right? You want to be like Hut, you want to be like Iren, you want to be like all these other cool kids. All right. So what I want to see from you is at least you try to go sideways from now on. Do something like this and I'll believe you. Rumble is another one, right? Celsius, another one we've been talking about. This one was very good. You do this bounce from the support level, perfect. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. So now we're about to hit this resistance. So yeah, that's why we need the Substack. I can't just be babbling about this all the time. I'm just gonna give you a list. I'll just tell you, go read the list, look at the list. This is why I'm picking this stuff, and we'll go from there. All right. Anything else to talk about here? NetApp. Oh, or Cloudflare, I mean, not NetApp. Cloudflare. Yeah. Okay, we've got up to the okay, yeah, we gotta pull back a bit. We already had resistance. We already hit the resistance through the earnings, so that's fine. That's fine. So anything else? Uranium gonna be important. And lithium. We already had this good move up here. See, this is perfect. This is perfect. This one is perfect. Looks great. I think we already made a bottom. You can see the dashed line I made. So UwU Energy Fuels. This one is the small cap uranium. So it's been boring so far, right? You can see like October 2025, January 2026, May 2026. We failed. We went back down. So I was waiting for this retest. We started moving up. That gives me confidence I'm right on track for this one. So UwU, and then the big cap guy, uranium, you see, same thing. We hit this level here for support. Looks like we're trying to break out. It made the duck lips over here. We got out. Okay, so this is the test we have to make here. This is the test. It's probably going to do this. Zigzag, and then we're going to continue on up. So we're going to be watching these. This is the next one to watch. And then lithium, we have LAR. Yeah, LAR is one of them. Okay, I guess I look at the weekly or monthly. Okay, monthly. Yeah, monthly looks more interesting. You see this one? this one definitely looks crazy. This one looks crazy. This one definitely looks crazy. That's the world of lithium for you. But the Chinese stopped manipulating lithium, so I think we're cool. I think we're safe right here. All right, yeah, cool, whatever. I'm cool here. So that's what I was looking for. I think we're ready to go for lithium. LAR, lithium Argentina, SGML. SGML is the one that I usually favor. Okay, so far this monthly candle here, we got this duck lips down here. So if you look at the monthly, it looks more interesting, doesn't it? And then SQM just reported earnings last week. I think this was last week. Yeah, so pretty good, pretty good. It's already floating above at a higher level. So we're ready to rock. This one has been performing better than the other two so far this year. So ever since 2025, we've been doing pretty well. So this one, Peruvian SQM. The only problem with this guy is if a union or a socialist government start clamping down, then you're gonna lose out. So that's the only worry about that. So SQM. So I have some options for you. Plenty of options for you. Nice. I have a good stack of Marvel. I'll ride it up to a bit. This is the balls for Yeah, that's fine. You know, you don't need to do I mean, I think it's fine not to do all this leverage shit. Yeah, leverage shit. Okay, it's all pledge. There's a ton of call options for Marvel heading earnings. At least a cute couple. I think Marvel should be fine. I mean, but it's always a mixed bag with Marvel sometimes. Marvel would have been the company I would have worked at had I not decided forget about it. I'm not working anymore. So yeah, then my next gig would have been Marvel. I know a lot of people that work there, so they wanted me to work over there. But the politics in Marvel is crazy. It's like the Chinese versus the Indians. I would be on the I think I would have been on the Chinese side versus the Indian, or maybe I would have been on the Indian side. I don't know. I don't know. Depend on which friend I was going to go work for. So depending on which friend I was gonna go work for, it would have been like, was I on the Chinese side or the Indian side? And Marvell, the CEO, was Indian, married to a Chinese. So both of them engineers. So Marvell was like, yeah, was split halfway in the middle. Like Marvell is a funny little company, I think. Yeah, if I worked for them, I would have had a lot of weird like stuff. Man, I never side with. I don't know. It's tough because you have to you have to weigh your own personal benefit versus that's office politics. That's office politics. It's just weird. It's just fucking weird. For me, I was always like a rebel that I didn't care about my own personal gain. So I would have been a loose cannon all over the place because I would just like to fuck with people just for the hell of it. Because I didn't really need the money at that point. Yeah, I wouldn't have needed the money. Who gives a fuck? All right. I had more conviction. I would be up 125. Yeah, this is why we need why I need to study the DeMark stuff more. I think the DeMark stuff is the only way to really pick out tops and bottoms with real conviction. You just don't have that conviction unless you have something that can help you with the future, right? And cycles is not good enough at this point to do that. But maybe the combination of the two will work. All right, that's all. Okay. Oh yeah. Last four things. Remember, I was talking about the AI drug development stocks. So reminder: look at SDGR, look at ABSI, look at RLAY, and look at WGS. Okay, so after Moderna had its little results for the vaccine, the cancer vax, mm, they claimed that they used AI to help develop it. So a lot of these stocks that came out here were getting a boost. We're getting a pretty good boost off of it. So let me get rid of this. I don't know why I put all these dots everywhere. So let me see here. That's probably where I would be saying there's resistance, right? So it just made SDGR. That's the one. Okay, so let me maybe this area here. This okay. That's probably it. ABSI. So SDGR Schrodinger. ABSI is ABSI. Yeah, okay. So all these reported earnings, I think, right? Yeah, they all report earnings. They're all done. Relays going sideways. Don't know yet. Looks like it's that. So Relay Therapeutics, RL. Oh man, come on. And WGS, Gene DX. So this one's it's already crossed over. I like this one. I said like if it touched like 35, I would have a go at it. It looks like it's working out so far. The question now that I have is like, should I add and make this a big deal, or should I wait for October? That's my question now. Or should I get out and come back October? I don't know yet. Fuck. Yeah, see, if maybe I should. This is why you want to do options. You're like, well, maybe I just want to hold the shares. Um I'll just put a hedge on it with options or something. Okay, the other two was like Lumentum and AOI. Man, I haven't decided on this one yet. Huh? Lumentum looked like it recovered. I don't know what news made this one go up. Was there any news today? No, it looks like there's nothing, at least on TradingView. AOI still hasn't recovered. No, AOI is still stuck here at the bottom. So if you want to get into AOI, so Lumentum AOI, the photonic stuff, yeah, I'm not certain yet. And it looks like even with NVIDIA, it's not okay. It's up 2% on Lumentum, up 3% on AOI. It doesn't look like there's anything there. And then we have Intel because of Nancy Pelosi, but Nancy Pelosi, it was all trending on Twitter, but I didn't see a bounce here, so I don't know. So Pelosi bought it around this level back at 95. So along this red candle, she bought here. So between 90 and 100. So I'm just going to guess it's 95. She bought it at 95. She bought stock and options. Bloom Energy, she also bought. She bought here between 185 and 200. And then she bought again when it started going down on Tuesday, after the weekend. So she bought on a Friday, and then the weekend it went down into Monday. So it looks like she bought at 156 or 177. So she bought again. She bought again down here. So these two, Intel and Bloom Energy, she got in. She bought stock and option. All right. Anything else? Trump? No, I already talked about that yesterday. Okay, that's all. That's all I want to talk about for that. Okay, so last thing I want to say is the Zeta stuff. So let's get back to the Zeta stuff. Might as well talk about it. So like I said before, the software companies, if we're going to look at the Zeta and Zeta, let's compare it with Palantir, right? And we could look at the chart right here. We have like $11, $10, 11, 17, 16, 17, maybe 24, 25. So we kind of have these regions here that we hang out in. Now, the most important thing, though, is this bar, right? This huge red bar for this week, or the week of November 11th, 2024, my bad, 50%. So when I look at this chart, I'm just like, what the fuck? What? Okay. The problem is this bar is a real drag. This is a real drag here. This really determines everything that it does. And you can see like it has a hard time, right? Every time we get into this bar. This is the first time we've gotten as far as we did. And let's look at the volume here. Not bad. Okay. Good volume. With the earnings, not bad. Okay. I want to see what you do now. I want to see if you do something like this. Okay. Drawing all over the place. Something like that. You want to retest that area. Something like that. I'm guessing something like that is going to happen. And then we're going to retest this like 37. And once we get through there, perhaps we can really break out. So it's a hard sell. But this thing is like the other software companies, right? So let's compare it with Palantir. Palantir had a smoother ride. Okay, but it did like this thing has a higher beta than, I guess, Palantir in a way. Maybe a high beta that's correlated with the software index. Let me see if that's true. So let me put up IGV. Okay, IGV. Yeah, there's high correlation. There's definitely a high correlation with the IGV, right? You could tell it's moving alongside with the IGV. So this thing probably will get very strong if everybody else moves alongside. How about compared to Adobe? Adobe, nope. Very little correlation with Adobe. Adobe is a laggard in this whole thing. Intuit reported earnings this week, like yesterday, I think. Still a laggard, right? Those two are laggards. So it's definitely not following those two. How about Oracle? Sort of, but then it broke its correlation over here. So once we had earnings from Zeta, it no longer like really follows Oracle for now. That's really it. So Oracle really is kind of like what's gonna stop us in a few weeks from now, right? 2 or 3 weeks, because this thing just follows the IGV. So that's all I wanted to mention. You know, we're gonna have to look at all the software companies one by one and figure out which of these are going to be the top dog winners, because so far it's only like looking at like something like CrowdStrike, right? CrowdStrike. So yeah, obviously this one is the leaders. The cybersecurity are the leaders right now. Yeah. Okay, that's all I want to say. Broadcom is Marvell's chief competitor. One of the chief competitors is Marvell. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I'll be packing chopsticks to work every day. Okay. Yeah. SLS. I don't think I ever looked at that one. Have I? SLS. Have I looked at this one before? It sounds familiar. I don't think I have. But if I did, it was only like briefly, huh? It just doesn't sound familiar. Okay. I'll put this on the list of things to look at. Not bad. I like it. Looks good here. Definitely looks good. Okay. All right. SLS it is. All right. I'll look at that one. SLS. Good. Anything else? AOI got killed with the yeah. Dude, NBIS got killed too, man. I was like, dude, NBIS, what the hell? And then they did that. NBIS got killed the same way. They did an ATM. Yeah, they did a little ATM offering. It's just like, look at that. Right at the resistance, they announced that. Bam, slam back down. I was like, oh my god, you fucker. Should have known. You get right to the resistance and you go like bam, you get slammed. But if the tech stuff gets juiced up, by October, if AOI doesn't make a big dip, maybe I'll trade it. I don't really like it. I mean, it's too volatile for me though. Woody Johnson, hey, what's up? Good to hear from you. Yes, good to hear from you. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm closing the stream though. We're already at 2 hours. Palantir popping up IGV. Correct. Palantir is definitely propping it up, and I'm worried about like Oracle. Oracle can undo everything. Terrible stuff. Now, one last thing to mention was the refinery stocks. So Marathon. So like I said, the refinery stocks today followed the rest of the oil and gas, and then it bounced up. So the refinery stocks from here, we hit a 13. We hit a 13, not a C5 or anything. We did definitely hit a 13 on the combo count for DeMark. Ever since we hit that 13, we've been going sideways, and now we have this big move here. You crash in the morning and you rally and you make a high in the day. I'm getting bullish again on the refineries. I don't know. This might be it. We might be continuing on higher. So if you've been watching these and you haven't got in yet, so Valero, MPC Marathon, right? And Dino, was that Sinclair? Dino is Sinclair. You see that? You're kind of like, ooh, maybe we're done with going sideways. Maybe we're ready to go up. PBF. So the tickers that are scrolling under your screen, yeah. So something's up here. Yes, something's up. Maybe we're done going sideways. I don't know. So I'm going to be paying attention to those. I'm going to be paying attention to those again. I think the refineries are really going to be the best performing oil and gas companies for a while, man. Those crack spreads aren't shrinking. Those crack spreads aren't shrinking. So if you don't know what crack is, look up CRK, the CRAK, the ETF, and look at crack spreads, CRACK. So GetCrack for me didn't mean what you thought it meant. So this is what I was talking about all along. See, I have a crystal ball. I knew it. That's why I picked the Marathon and Phillips 66. That's why I picked those stocks at the beginning of the year. I kind of knew they were going to be the best. No, I didn't know. I didn't know. I just picked them for some reason. The chart looked good. The chart looked better than Chevron and what was the other one? Exxon and Chevron didn't look that good. So Marathon and Valero or Phillips 66, they look better. All right, so watch the Substack. I need to populate it. We have to go through the software. I can't do it over a presentation, babbling like this. It just takes too much work, and it's better for you to read what I say than what I'm talking about. All right, yeah. Some of you guys could just take it. Get your local crack. That's right. Get your local crack. All right. So I'll see you around. Good night, folks. Good night. There's a lot of Boit stuff going on. If you don't know what the Boit is, go to Schizo Spud stream if you want to get up to date. So Schizo Spud, if you don't know, I mean, I think he was gonna stream, right? He should be streaming now, and I'm just gonna move on and try to get something else. Get something else here. Gonna rewatch. Did Nvidia earnings? No, Nvidia's was fine. Nvidia's was fine. Up 4%. Once Jensen started talking, he was like going up. So yeah, go to Schizo Spud. He's live. Perfect. Go Schizo Spud 6550 or Schizo Spud on Kick. Boy, the bottom of YouTube. Yes, we are at the bottom of YouTube. This is so low that we have nowhere but to go up. So we're gonna explode tomorrow, hopefully. So AXTI, SanDisk, maybe Lunar. Good. All right, thanks, Woody. All right, see you around. Good luck. Good luck with the trades.